Hello neighbors, howdy folks. One thing that you might notice that it's a little bit different than usually is if you're watching these in sequence. It's a nice, beautiful spring day in February. Is it still February? Yeah, maybe just the end of February. All right, we're looking at Sunny Side of the Mountain, beginner style. And this is very simple arrangement, and we just need to get that melody in our heads. You know, it's a great singing song. Sounds something like this. How's it go? Now don't forget me, little darling, while I'm growing old and gray. That's just a little thought before I'm going far away. I'll be waiting on the hillside where the wild red roses grow, on the sunny side of the mountain where the rippling waters fall. And we're not exactly sure why grow and fall are rhymed, but that has little to do with our mandolin study today. All right, we just want to get that melody in our heads. Let's look at the chords real quick. So it goes A, 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 D, 2, 3, 4, E, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, A, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's a little tricky. 6 beats on the E. That's the 5 chord. All right. So at the very beginning, we have 2 full bars of A. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, D. That's 8 beats, 4 beats in a bar. So that's 2 full bars of A. All right. Then we have a full bar of D. D, 2, 3, 4. All right. So 2 bars of A, 1 bar of D. And then we have the 6 beats of E. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then back to A for 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can think about that as a couple extra beats in E. If a usual bar is going to be 4 beats, this is 6 beats, so you can think about it as 4 beats, 1 bar, plus 2 extra beats. It's a little complicated. That's how the phrasing of the song goes, and that's what we do. And so the second half just repeats that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, D, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so 8 beats of A, 2 bars, 4 beats of D, 1 bar, and then 6 beats of E, which is like 1.5 bars, or 2 extra beats on top of the full 4-beat bar. Okay, now let's get to our melody. All right, we're going to be learning a basic, bare bones 8th note melody that we can theoretically easily transinterpolate to make up a word into 16th notes. All right, it's going to sound something like this. If you add the upstroke to all those 8th notes, it sounds like this. And if you kind of mix it up with 8th notes and 16th notes, maybe a little shuffle in there, it can sound like this. So let's go through it one time, counting out with the eighth notes, all right? What are eighth notes? Okay, so the eighth notes, basically, one way of thinking about it is where the bass plays and then where the mandolin chop plays. And it's the ones and the ands, if you're counting the quarter note, getting even more complicated, where the bass plays. Okay, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Those are your eighth notes. Okay, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so on and so forth. All right, so counting through the simple eighth note melody will be something like this: 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 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 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 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 and 1. All right, messed up the count a little bit at the end there. That's because of that tricky 6 beats at the end. And some of this may be very complicated, especially to the folks who are just beginning. But all of this is for the purpose of getting this melody in your ear. Okay, that's the mandolinese version of the singing melody. All right, the vocal melody. Don't forget me, little darling, while I'm growing old and gray. With the mandolin, you're going to put a little bit of the shuffle in there. Don't forget me, little darling, while I'm growing old and gray. Just a little thought before I'm growing far away. Okay. So back to the bare bones melody. The melody has 3 pickup notes, all right? And so if you're thinking about the pre-roll, which is the period of time before you start your break, it's gonna go like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And the 1 there is your downbeat, okay? So your pickup notes start where? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. They start on the and of 3. All right, so you're going to be playing a little chromatic lead-in pickup note situation from the 4th fret of the A up to the open E. All right, so you're going to go 4, 5, 6, and then open E. I recommend you start with your middle finger and then use your ring finger for the 5th fret and the 6th fret. All right, and 4 and 1. Those are all downstrokes. These are all going to be downstrokes because we're playing eighth notes. All right. So let's check out our first line. All right, it's gonna sound like this. All right, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that's a full bar, 4 beats there. Okay, this is the part where he goes, don't forget me, darling, or whatever he says there. Okay, so we're starting out on the open E. 1 and 2 and, so 4 downstrokes on the open E, and then it's going to go to the 2nd fret of the E, open E, 4th fret of the A, open A. All right, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, that's our first bar. If you put the pickup notes to it, it sounds like this. And 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so if you haven't got that already, stop ye old video and work on it until you got that. And 4 and 1 and 2 let's check out our second line. It's going to sound like this. All right, with the count, it's like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Okay, so we're starting out on the 2nd fret of the E. 1 stroke there, open E, down to the 4th fret of the A, open A. All right, those are your first 4 notes. 2nd fret of the E, open E, 4th fret of the A, open A. And then we come back to the 4th fret of the A for 2 strokes, down to the 2nd fret of the A, 1 stroke, and then the open A. All right, and that's our full second line. All right, counting it out. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Okay, so putting it together from the pickup notes, it's gonna sound like this. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... All right, so make sure you got that before moving on, okay? And in the melody, just to make sure that resonance is happening, it sounded like this. Now don't forget me, little darling, while I'm growing old and... All right, that's all the A part, the A chord part. 8 beats in A. Now we're moving to the D chord. Great. This is a really long vocal note, so we're just hanging on the open D. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... This is an easy part. Okay, so you have 8 eighth notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Those are eighth notes, so that makes up 1 bar. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... All right, couldn't be a whole lot more easier than that right there. Okay, so taking it from the top. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Okay, now we're gonna go to the E chord. Has 6 beats. It's gonna sound like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and... So you can count it as 6 beats, or you can count it as 4 beats and then 2 more beats after it. It's a little complicated. It's one of the things that makes the song cool. And this is the part where he's going, just a little thought before I'm going for a... And then it goes back to the A chord. Way... That's going to be our next bar. We're working on the E chord bar right now, a bar and a half, or extra 2 beats. Okay, so starting on the 2nd fret of the A. Just a little thought before I'm going for a... All right, so we got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and... We'll count it with 6 beats. It's going to be confusing either way. All right, so you're starting on your 2nd fret of the A. 1 and 2 and 4 strokes there, up to the 4th fret of the A. That's your 3rd beat. 3, right back to your 2nd fret of the A, and 4 and... All right, so you have the 4 strokes on the 2nd fret of the A. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 stroke on the 4th fret of the A, then 3 more on the 2nd fret of the A. All right, and it's a little tricky because we're switching between how many notes you're counting and what the count is. But just let it all sink in, soak in. The most important thing is to hear it in your head. Do, 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 do. Various ways you can do that. You can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 1, 2, 3. That's a weird way of doing it, but you're counting the strokes. I like to do the count. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... All right, so now we're up to the 5th beat of this 6-beat bar with the extra couple beats. Coming down to the 6th fret of the D. Basically, the most simple way you can think about it is 3 strokes on the 6th fret, 1 stroke on the 4th fret. All right, this is coming in on the 5th beat of this extended bar. 5 and 6 and. All right, so this whole line, just get this phrase in your mind. Just a little thought before I'm going far up. It kind of times out nicely with the syllables. Just a little thought before I'm going far up. All right, so you're coming up to the 4th fret of the A on thought. Just a little thought before I'm going far up. All right, let's take her from the top. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 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 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So that time I did the count starting over with 1 instead of 5 and 6, but hopefully you caught it. Sorry about that if that messed you up. Didn't mean to, I promise. Okay, so now we're halfway through. So when you get down to that 2nd fret of the D, 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 strokes on the 2nd fret of the D. Then we start our pickup notes again. All right, the count is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So you're coming into the 4th fret of the A, again on the end of 3 and 4 and. And lucky for us, the next 3 bars are the same. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And here's where it changes slightly. So when it goes to the E chord for the 6 beat bar, the vocal melody changes. And what are the words he's saying there? Sunny side of the mountain where the rippling waters fall. So it comes back up to the A for the end of the whole melody. All right, so we got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and here's your 5th and 6th beat. 6th fret of the D, down to the 2nd fret of the D, 4th fret of the D, 6th fret of the D, and the open A. All right, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1. All right. And you can just end right there if you want to. Or you can have this little tag out lick. All right, so open A, 4th fret of the D, 2nd fret, 6th fret of the G, 2nd fret of the G. In the context, that'd be like this. That's where you start your rhythm again. All right, so that's the whole thing. All right, it's the whole thing. Let's play it. You want to? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 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 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 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 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3. And on the 3rd beat there, a little tag out. All right, let's do it one more time with the singing. 1, 2, 3. Now don't forget me, little darling, while I'm growing old and gray. Just a little thought before I'm going far away. You know that I'll be waiting on the hillside where the wild red roses grow. Sunny side of the mountain where the rippling waters fall. He could have easily changed that to flow, to rhyme it with rose, or whatever, why would it grow? But he didn't. That's a bluegrass mystery right there. Maybe he got it wrong, maybe he got it right. I don't know what the original version says. Maybe it's the Jimmy Martin version too, which is how we learn it from bluegrass. Okay, so let's add the upstroke. Okay, this might be complicated for some people. This might be real easy for other people. You know, it's okay. Just stick with it. It's gonna sound like this. So we're just adding an upstroke to every single downstroke. And you can do that with the pickup notes, or you can play the pickup notes with eighth notes. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. And 4 and 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and 2 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E. I say, I might have messed the count up in there. The most important thing, again, not to be from the Department of Redundancy department, but just get that melody in your head. That, in a way, could be the most important thing about all of this, all right? Getting that little hummy thing in your head, which I like to call speaking mandolinese, all right? Because you can't just go, well, you could if you're playing the fiddle, you know, that's how you could do it on the fiddle. But with the mandolin, we need that little shuffle in there, or the run in 16th notes, or the, you know, the There are many ways up the mountain. We need to be able to do them all and hold them all in our head at the same time, eventually, hopefully, maybe, okay? One other option about playing this whole thing is you can put a little shuffle to it. Shuffle lick is, in its basic sense, is one quarter note divided into 1/8 note and 2 16th notes. How confusing is that? It's a little confusing if you're new to it, but it sounds like this: down, down, up. It's real simple like that. Down, down, up. You can play a scale like that. Down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up. All right. You can also count it like this: 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a... And you could thread a shuffle through this whole thing with 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 and 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2. Okay? So that's even challenging for me to do, to like keep that steady shuffle going, but really ultimately it's a feel thing in the best sense. You know how people say, oh, you play bluegrass, that's the shuffle. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a... Okay, so you just gotta flow with that. Put it where it feels good. little extra notes in there. You might have heard those. A little bit more on the advanced side of town there. Okay, so the key, get that melody in your head, play with Strum Machine, keep yourself straight. Strum Machine is a great app if you hadn't heard about it before. So hope you've enjoyed this exploration of Sunny Side of the Mountain in the key of A. Also good to take that same arrangement up into G or down into G, up into B, flat, B. If you can find it there, it's really good, and that's more advanced. This is a nice bare bones beginner melody for it that you can dress up in many ways. Follow your ear. If it sounds good, it is good. And we love you, appreciate you, and we'll see you on the next one, okay? Bye-bye.